Hey guys, it's Jeff from Pressure Luck. Now, you know me and my love for soups. I love soups. It is soup season, and I love all kinds, from a minestrone to a French onion to a cream of... Guys, speaking of cream ofs, there's always cream of soups I always want to try making if I haven't seen one before, like what I did by cream of onion before. And then I'd said to myself, you know what? Bacon is kind of cool and kind of trendy. How about we do a cream of bacon? Now, I kid you not, this is going to be one of the most unique, outrageous, and delicious soups you've ever made. It's so easy to make. It just takes a little bit of time of just cooking the bacon and then sauteing a few onions. But other than that, I mean, it's child's play. It's so easy to make. And the end result's gonna be that of one of the most unbelievably delicious soups that's not overpowering in terms of bacon flavor, but just sends you off onto cloud 9 on some sort of crazy bacon honeymoon. So guys, let's go to it and make, for the very first time ever, cream of bacon soup. Alright guys, so the first ingredient we need in this soup is going to be some tofu. Bacon! Bacon, we're going to be using some bacon. I guess you could use tofu bacon if you want, but no, we're really using real bacon here, and this stuff is about 1.5 pounds worth, 1 pound to 1.5 pounds. That you can use how much you want in there. I wouldn't go less than 1 pound, and this is wonderful thick cut bacon that I got from Costco. Oh, I just love Costco. Alright, let's cut it up. And sure, I could snap it if I wanted to, but I'm going to show you really how to do this. I just take a few pieces in here, grab some shears, and just cut into strips like this. And then with each set of strips that you cut, just cut, you know, a few pieces here. So we have lovely cubes, almost like flat cubes of bacon, just like this. And of course, leave all the fatty pieces on. It's going to be necessary for this. And just do this with all the bacon. And now I'll do it more quickly with my snapping shortcut. There we have it. All of our bacon nice and sliced up. Alright, set that aside. Now let's take 2 Vidalia or sweet onions and slice them into strands. I also want to take about 2 pounds worth of Idaho or russet potatoes. And then peel them and then cut them up into large chunks just like this. So let's come down to our control panel and hit the saute button and adjust so we're on the more or the high setting. And add in 1/4 stick or 2 tablespoons of salted butter. Now, you're going to notice that you can only go up to a maximum of 30 minutes when you're on the saute function. That's fine, but since we're going to saute our bacon for 15 minutes straight in the pot, we're going to then want to come back to the pot and we begin our onions, which is going to be another 15 minutes. And once the butter's all melted and sizzling, we're now going to add in our bacon. And make sure we stir all of our bacon around in all of the butter so it's all coated, and make sure all the bacon kind of separates from each other. And now we're just going to want to allow it to cook until it gets kind of on the crispier side. Not super crispy, but a little bit crispy, because it's going to crisp up even more when we take it out of there. It's going to take between 10 to 15 minutes to do this, and you're going to see it's going to release a lot of bacon grease, which is exactly what we want it to do. So just let it set and cook and occasionally stir it up. And one of the reasons why we have the butter in here right now is also to help the bacon not stick at all to the bottom of the pot. It's going to come in very handy here, believe me. Not to mention it's going to infuse even more amazing flavor into the bacon. And you'll see that after about 5 minutes or so of the bacon cooking in there, it's going to get kind of soupy, cooking in its own juices. Then just give everything a nice little stir and make sure everything's getting nice and cooked. And obviously the bacon will begin to reduce in size as well. We want all these white pieces to start to get a little bit crispy. And you see how I'm just letting the bacon simmer there without stirring it? We'll let it do that for a while. We don't want to stir it too much because that'll interrupt the cooking process. Mostly just let it set and stir every so often. Maybe every 2 to 3 minutes or so, give it a stir. And also, whenever we do stir it, make sure we give the bottom of the pot a nice scrape to make sure nothing sticks on it. We want to make sure it stays relatively stick-free, and the butter will help that a great deal. And do you see how beautiful we're getting in color, guys? Alright, we're almost done here. It's going to take about 15 minutes. Do not skimp out on this. It is important that all that bacon gets nice and cooked, so all the pieces that were really white and kind of fatty become nice and delicious and crispy. Look at how beautiful we're getting. And after about 15 minutes of our bacon simmering in its amazing juices, and it looks like this, we want to remove it with a slotted spoon. Whichever comes first, the bacon looking like this in terms of color, or 15 minutes. It's going to be right around the same time. Just don't let it stay in there too much longer once it starts looking like this, or it's going to be very prone to burn. So take a slotted spoon, and then transfer it to a bowl that has a paper towel lined in there to suck up any greases, or absorb, I should say. And there we go. This, guys, is perfect. It's actually going to crisp up even more as it cools down a bit and stays in the paper towel, so don't even worry about it. It's going to be perfect. So let's just set this aside for now. Alright, so now that we're done sauteing the bacon, let's just hit the cancel button and then hit saute again, because again, it only goes up to 30 minutes, and it's only been in there for about 15 to 17 minutes at this point, and we just want to have our timing even. So another 15 minutes of sauteing the onions. And you see all of that bacon grease that we have left behind from the bacon? That's perfect, because it's going to cook our onions beautifully. Add those in. And then stir that around in the pot so that it gets nice and coated with the bacon grease. And the greatest thing about onions in this situation here is they release water. So it's going to be super easy to deglaze the bottom of the pot from any bacon remnants that might have stuck on. Look at that. It's going to be coming very clear. So we want to cook our onions in the bacon grease for about 10 minutes until they cook down a bit. And you'll see they'll reduce a bunch in size as the water escapes from the onions. And after 10 minutes have passed of the onions cooking, you'll see they'll have reduced down very, very much significantly. And it's almost becoming a little bit soupy, which is great. We now want to add in some cooking sherry, a half a cup. And now we have 5 minutes to go. We'll let that cook in there for 5 more minutes. And we'll also toss in a tablespoon of crushed garlic as well. And after 15 minutes of our onions beautifully sauteing in the pot, first of all, it's going to smell insane. And they're going to be nice and pasta-like in consistency, and the bottom of the pot's going to be nice and smooth and clear. And now it is time to add in our broth. I'm going to be adding in 3 cups of ham broth, and that's going to be 3 teaspoons of ham Better Than Bouillon mixed with 3 cups of water, along with 2 cups of chicken broth, and I'm using 2 teaspoons of chicken Better Than Bouillon mixed with 2 cups of water. Now, if you don't have any ham broth, I'll link to where you can get it online. You can just use 5 cups of chicken broth or 5 cups of garlic broth, or whatever you want to use. Just use a broth of your choice. But this is what I like to do with it, because why not make it extra meaty with some ham base? I also want to add in 2 teaspoons of dried thyme, as well as my potatoes. And then just give everything a stir in the pot so everything gets nice and combined. Scrape the bottom of it for anything that might have been stuck on there. And now we are ready to secure our lid and cook. Let's get this on there, secure it, make sure we're in sealing position. And now let's come down to our control panel again, hit the cancel button, and we are ready to cook. Let's hit the pressure cook or manual button depending on your model. And we want to go, guys, for 10 minutes at high pressure, and that's it. Now that we're done cooking, we're going to do a quick release. And the pin just drops. Let's take the lid off. And there is our soon-to-be pureed amazing cream of bacon soup. Alrighty, a few final steps. Let's add in 1/3 cup of regular all-purpose flour. And let's whisk that into everything. Now, you don't have to be concerned that it's uncooked flour, because you see this soup? It's steaming up the lens. It's cooking itself within seconds just from the heat of the soup itself. And now let's go back to our bacon, which is going to be nice and crisped up now that it's sat in room temperature. It's perfect. We're going to take about 3/4 of that bacon and put it into the pot. 3/4 to 2/3 of it, whatever you want to do there. Just so you have some left to top the soup with a garnish. And let's stir that into the soup. It's time to puree. And the easiest and most convenient way to do this is with an immersion blender. I can't recommend one of these enough, guys. They are so convenient for blending and pureeing soups. So much easier than transferring it to a blender in batches and then pouring it back in. Forget that. Get one of these. They're super affordable and awesome. Let's puree. And when you're blending, make sure the head of the immersion blender is always submerged, otherwise it's going to splatter everywhere out of the little sides here. You don't want that to happen. It might make a mess, it might splatter on your skin and burn yourself. Don't let that happen. Just puree for about a minute. Alright, we are looking good. And now for a few finishing touches. I want to add in 1/4 cup of maple syrup. Yes, guys, you heard this right. Maple syrup. Because who doesn't love like a maple bacon? It's amazing. You don't have to add it, but I strongly suggest you do. Let's also add in 1 cup of heavy cream or half and half. And let's stir that all together. The color really comes out once you add in that cream, guys. Awesome. And lastly, I'm adding in 1 tablespoon of seasoned salt. Stir that in. And guys, I introduce you to cream of bacon soup. Alright, let me ladle this into some bowls. Here's a bowl, and I'm going to ladle some of the soup in there. I'm taking a crock because why not? And perfect. Now let's top this off. I'm going to put some chives on there that I've sliced up, as well as, of course, some extra bacon. Let's get that bacon on there. Maybe a few more chives. Gorgeous. It is time to eat. Get in my belly. Oh boy, cream of bacon soup. Did you ever think you'd see the day? And I love these crocks. They're so lovely for French onion soup and chilies, and I guess cream of bacon. Let's try it out. Oh my. You know what's so amazing about this soup? You might think that it might be too intense with all the bacon in there and cooking in the bacon grease. Nope. The flavor is spot on, not overwhelming in terms of salt at all. It's just the right flavors, and adding that maple syrup in there, guys, if you add it in, is an amazing, amazing touch. Look at my glasses fogging up. Oh, it's a delightful soup. I'm gonna take these off. And topping it with that bacon on the end, with that extra crisp, absolute perfection. It's a wonderfully comforting, divine soup. Look at how beautiful the consistency is. Not too thick, not too thin, just like a cream of whatever soup ought to be. It's just magic. It's magic. This is a soup you're gonna wanna make on a chilly fall or winter's night. Curl up on the couch, just enjoy one of these while watching some football. Believe me, this is an amazing thing for a football game. Or for Thanksgiving, for holidays, family gatherings, you name it, this soup is going to be your best friend. And you know what? If you want to add some beans to it, feel free to add in a can of like drained beans at the end of your choice, like navy beans, kidney beans, whatever you want. Just add them in, stir them in when you're stirring in the cream and the maple syrup. That's totally your choice. And if you're keto, this is a pretty keto-friendly dish. I know people who are on keto diets who walk around with bacon in their purses because you never know when you might need to break out that bacon. I guess just leave the maple syrup out. But guys, this is a grand slam. Alright. And with that, if you guys want some more easy to follow recipes that are all tried and true and delicious, go to PressureLookCooking.com and check that out. I have everything you might want there, from vegan to carnivore, from healthy to comfort. And of course, check out my Facebook page, facebook.com/PressureLookCooking. Like the page for all new updates whenever a recipe comes out, tips on items, humor, all that jazz. You could also give each other pointers on things on a thread. It's really, really great and useful. And of course, at Pressure Luck, to subscribe to me on YouTube where all my videos like this one live, at Instagram, Pinterest, and Twitter. Guys, thank you again so much for all your support. And I'm telling you, once you serve this to somebody, they're always going to be begging you for cream of bacon. All right.